And we're back for our daily NBA best bets here on January 2nd, 2026. We've got a good amount of games today in the association. The Lakers are back. Maybe we'll pick Lakers money line today. Maybe? No. Anyways, we're back for 5 more NBA best bets today. Not in the normal setup today, so if I remember, we'll have timestamps in the description down below for all of the best bets, obviously with no graphics on the screen today, folks. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA best bets here on the channel. That Clippers Jazz game yesterday, hey, haha. I was at that one. I went to the Rose Bowl first, obviously. Oh, man. That's one of the craziest games I've ever been to. Maybe the craziest game, probably the best game I've ever been to. I mean, I just got to watch my favorite college football team, the school I went to, go beat Alabama by 35 points in the Rose Bowl. I never imagined that to ever happen, and I got to witness that live. Anyways, I went to the Intuit Dome later. I thought the Jazz were fine. Jazz go down at, 15-0, 16-0 to start the game. They ended up having the lead in the second half. And then Kawhi Leonard decided to score like 30 points at 20 points in the fourth quarter, and we didn't cover. But it's okay. It's okay. We're back. 5 more best bets today for the NBA, folks. Before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more college basketball best bets were posted earlier today. Okay, on to the first of our 5 best bets. Again, hopefully they're time-stamped. Gotta remember that. First one, Julian Champagnie over points. Give me Julian Champagnie over 11.5 points. That's listed as minus 130. There's a range of reasons for this. This is not I'm going, just let me blind take Julian Champagnie because he scored 36 points in 36 minutes against the New York Knicks. While that is absurd, while it is completely absurd, the man went 11 for 17 from beyond the arc in that game. And oh, by the way, that was the only shot he took. And the Knicks were kind of just daring Champagnie and the Spurs to look to that shot because they thought going into this game, well, Champagnie's the last guy who could hurt us. If you give Champagnie wide open looks, he's going to hit him. I understand he went through a big stretch where he missed 12 straight threes, really, and missed, I think it was 18 of 19 threes. Between that Utah game, the 2 against OKC, we were going 0 for 3 in both of them, and then when he went 0 for 6 against the Jazz, it was rough for Julian Champagnie, I understand. And if you give him that many looks, though, eventually he's going to convert. Again, going 11 for 17 from the 3-point line against the New York Knicks. But there is more reason why we're going to go over Champagnie points, which, again, it's over 11.5. We need 12 points out of Julian Champagnie tonight, a line that he hadn't reached prior to Wednesday's game since December 18th against the Washington Wizards. And I'll go through the entire dry spell. 12 points against Washington, 6 against the Hawks, 3 against the Wizards, 4 against OKC, 0 against OKC, 4 against the Jazz, where he went 0 for 6 from the 3-point line, and 7 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then again, there's the 36-point outing on New Year's Eve against the Knicks. Okay, if there's ever a team that he can, I'm not gonna go out and say, Champagnie's just gonna duplicate the last performance, because that's an unrealistic expectation, okay? They're playing the Indiana Pacers, but asking Champagnie to go out there and score somewhere in the ballpark of somewhere in the ballpark of 30 plus points is just, again, unrealistic. 12? Now we're talking. Because ultimately, if Champagnie's only shot this game is a 3-pointer, he does only have to hit 4, which to a normal NBA player, that's a lot. Guys, that's Champagnie's only shot. That and a layup and a tip-in off of a second chance rebound, or a transition bucket where he's just ahead of the pack or something like that, or a 2-on-1, and here comes a 2-on-1. All right, Harper dishes it down to Champagnie. There's the laying it in. His really only shot's a 3-pointer. And eventually, the Spurs, again, it's San Antonio Spurs basketball. Obviously, again, it's Mitch Johnson now, and it's not it's not Popovich, obviously, but it's still a pass-heavy team. They're going to find the open shooter. They're going to work the ball around. Champagnie's going to find himself in spots. And they're taking on the Pacers, a very bad defensive team, and we've always talked about Indiana. They're not a great defensive team. I wouldn't say they're bad. This year they're a bad defensive team. In general, they're not a great defensive team, but a team that's always made up with their scoring and their high-paced tempo. They don't make up for that this season because obviously Halliburton's out and just the multitude of injuries the Indiana Pacers have had all year long. So defensively, they are still kind of a mess. And that should allow Champagnie to get those opportunities, again, as we talk about, in transition, as well, just in general, too, in the set offense. Another big factor we do need to say is Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama gets injured in the Spurs' last game a couple days ago against the Knicks. At least it appeared like he hyperextended his knee. Wemby goes to the locker room, tells the fans he's fine, but, is that, you're fine, you'll be back in 6 weeks, or are you going to be back tomorrow? Well, it appears more like in a couple days. I believe if Wemby could and he got the option, I think he'd want to play tonight. But they are playing the Pacers, no reason to push him back for this. I actually saw Victor Wembanyama's first ever game in Indiana. Just want to put that out there. It was like his 8th NBA game. Regardless, Victor Wembanyama is not playing this game tonight. And there's obviously major reasons for that. Sure, the injury as well. They don't need him to play the Pacers. I don't even think he's going to play on January 3rd against the Blazers. He's not going to play January 6th against the Grizzlies. Why? He's returning on the 7th against the Lakers. I'm serious. I think that's where he comes back. Actually, he'll probably come back tomorrow, in all fairness. They don't want him playing the back-to-back. They look at, okay, Indiana or Portland. We'd rather have him for Portland, and we'd rather have him at home so we can do our Skull chant that we totally just didn't copy off the Vikings. But you know what? I mess with the Skull chant. That's low-key aura when Wemby did that with the drum. So I don't care that it's kind of a copy of the Vikings, and that was cool. Anyways, no Wemby tonight. That opens up opportunities for Champagnie. Not saying, obviously, Champagnie's just leeching off the opportunity from Victor Wembanyama, but again, that's a result of Devin Vassell being out. Vassell doesn't play the next game. Mitch Johnson says he's going to be out multiple games. That's why Champagnie got so much run. Sure, again, the Knicks were leaving him open from 3, basically saying, okay, we dare this guy to beat us. And that's kind of what happened. But as well, again, the high-scoring night was a product of Champagnie just getting all those minutes, and Champagnie being allowed to play 36 because of Devin Vassell being out, and Champagnie, again, being able to start. So we're going to see the same thing tonight. No Wemby, which takes away from some scoring opportunities as well. On top of that as well, no Devin Vassell. So give me Julian Champagnie tonight against a bad defense in Indiana and a team that plays quick, so a lot of opportunities for everybody. Give me Julian Champagnie over 11.5 points on the road at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse against the Indiana Pacers. As we move on now to our second best bet of the video, we go to our first money line play of the day. It may be low-level basketball, but hey, it doesn't matter. We still take advantage of it, hopefully. Brooklyn Nets money line today, as the Nets go on the road to take on the Washington Wizards. And yes, I'm about to spend a good amount of time on the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards. Guys, we've already seen it before this season. And I know the Wizards are playing better basketball. Don't look now. The Washington Wizards actually have 8 victories. The Washington Wizards are actually 8-24, which is shocking. Now, Brooklyn has 10 wins. Ooh. The Wizards are 10-21. But we've literally already seen this exact matchup before. Game was played in Washington, D.C., and Brooklyn goes on the road. I believe it was like a morning game or a mid-afternoon game on November 16th in D.C., and the Nets went into Washington and beat the Wizards. I think it was like 1-8 versus 1-8. Did we might have had the Wizards that day, too. I don't think we did. We might have. If we did, I apologize. We do a lot of bets, obviously, so I don't remember every single one of them. Regardless, it's not like college basketball where we take teams once every 2 weeks. Yeah, the Wizards lost that game, and the Wizards got beat down. Michael Porter Jr. had a night, and Brooklyn wins the game in D.C. That's the last matchup these two teams have had. Again, in 2025, in November, they're going to do it again. And it's still in Washington this time, but I don't really think that matters. Now, as long as Michael Porter Jr. plays, we're going to be fine. And that is the major factor in this one. Does MPJ play? We shall see. I don't know. He did not play yesterday against the Rockets with an illness. I have a feeling he probably gives it a go tonight. Terrence Mann didn't play. Igor Demon didn't play. We saw Cam Thomas. We saw quite a bit of Cam Thomas against the Rockets, obviously, because somebody had to score. And obviously, when we did the best bet yesterday, we didn't think all 3 of those guys are going to be out. So that's my apologies there. But Thomas is a good day. Does Thomas play the second night of a back-to-back? Likely not. So they need Michael Porter Jr. tonight. And I would argue still, a Michael Porter Jr.-led team is going to play a lot better than a Cam Thomas plus Michael Porter Jr. team. Because I've always raised concern about what Brooklyn does, and I know a lot of people aren't raising concern about this Brooklyn Nets team because of the Nets, nobody really cares. But they're a young team that's trying to develop with Demon, with Danny Wolf, and with some other young players as well. Obviously, Claxton and company. So you need something to do with Thomas and Michael Porter Jr., who, by the way, still aren't that old either. Cam Thomas is 24. But my point with all this being is, with both Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. on the court at the same time, they tend to struggle. Because neither one of these guys is willing to be an off-ball player. They need the ball in their hands at all times, and both of them need to be taking majority of the shots. With likely just Michael Porter Jr. tonight, I know Cam Thomas not on the injury report as of now, but I know how the NBA works. I know how this is likely to develop. This is a player still coming off a hamstring injury who was out about over a month. He's probably not playing the second night of the back-to-back. So I'm gonna guess that Michael Porter Jr. is gonna play quite a bit tonight, as long as he does play with an illness. But again, he did not play yesterday, so I'd assume he's gonna play tonight. I expect a lot of points out of MPJ, and I expect the Nets to win the basketball game. With Michael Porter Jr., we'll see if Igor Demon plays or not. If Cam Thomas plays, again, it's not like I'm saying, oh, if Cam Thomas plays, we're screwed. No, I think we're still fine if Cam Thomas plays tonight for the Brooklyn Nets. I'm just saying, if we do get stuck in the situation where it's otherwise, where it's just MPJ, we might actually be better off. But even if Thomas plays, though, I'm not too concerned with it. I'm willing to roll the dice on that, and I don't think, again, we are entirely just, we're out of luck if Cam Thomas plays this game with Michael Porter Jr. at the same time. We're going to be fine. Now, the bigger concern is that Washington has won 3 of 4, which I know is surprising. I know it's shocking. The Washington Wizards have won 3 out of their last 4 games, and 2 of their wins have been at home. One of their wins was in Milwaukee against the Bucks, who are still the world's most confusing team. Some nights the Bucks look really good. Some nights they're low-key unstoppable. Giannis is scoring 33 against the Washington Wizards, and his team still loses. You're a bum, Miles Turner, even though Miles Turner actually didn't play that poorly in the Bucks-Wizards game. Anyways, get Giannis help, or trade Giannis. Let's get him out of Milwaukee. Or just call it Victor Oladipo, who I actually saw at the Rose Bowl yesterday. Didn't say what's up to him, but he was on the field. Regardless, the Wizards are coming off a win over the Bucks. And again, winning 3 of 4 going into this game, winning in Milwaukee, their 4th road win of the year. They have the same amount of road wins as they do home wins, which is odd. And then back-to-back wins at home against both the Grizzlies and the Raptors. There was a loss to Phoenix in there where Jalen Green told Colin Gillespie they can't expletive you with you. And Gillespie says, whoa, we're on TV, dude. You don't want to get fined. And Jalen Green says, I don't care. Jalen Green off the bench. I mean, if I made $35 million a year, I wouldn't care if I got fined $25,000 either. Just because I wanted to aura farm and create a cool moment. Yeah, I probably wouldn't care either. I'm going to take the Nets, though, guys. Washington winning these games, this is an anomaly. This is fake. It's not likely to repeat itself. What are the odds? Let's just think about this, guys. What are the odds the Wizards win 4 or 5? Pretty low. Their only opportunity is if Michael Porter Jr., Cam Thomas, and Igor Demon don't play, and Terrence Mann. Which, if that's the case, hopefully not. We're just going to wait, okay? If you're making this bet, wait until you know who plays, okay? The line's not going to go that far, okay? I don't expect the Nets to balloon up to a -170 favorite. I don't even think they're going to balloon to a -140, even if everyone is cleared to play. At the end of the day, it's still a Nets-Wizards game, and honestly, both these teams are not too far off each other in records. The Nets are 10-21, the Wizards are 8-24. And the game's in Washington? Hell, Washington should be favored to win. So I'm going to take the Nets here. I think this is a good spot for them. Brooklyn currently is at, I believe, -110 or -105. They're -115. Whoops. I'm going to take Brooklyn, though. I'm going to take the Nets to get this one done. Again, we will see who plays, but I'm going to go with Brooklyn to take this one on the road in Washington against the Wizards. On now to our third best bet of the video, as we move now to Orlando Magic going on the road. The Orlando Magic going on the road against the Chicago Bulls. Give me Orlando -4.5. I know, I'm the biggest Bulls truther you can find, right? I've been adamant this year about, Chicago's making the plan. Watch out for the Bulls. I've had, again, a roller coaster of a season with Vucci Main. Again, we like Josh Giddey quite a bit on the channel. Giddey's a hooper, but Josh Giddey is out for at least the time being. Unfortunately, it's likely going to cost Josh Giddey an appearance in the All-Star game, which is brutal because, man, that guy absolutely deserves it. Unfortunately, again, Giddey is likely to fall short of that mark this season just because of the injury, just like how potentially Austin Reeves is going to fall short of an All-Star season, even after the phenomenal year he's been having where he's averaging 26 or 27 points per game, and yet he's still going to miss the All-Star game because of injuries, and yet Deni Avdija is going to be an All-Star, which I guess his numbers actually indicate he is an all-star, but that's neither here or there. The Orlando Magic should completely beat up the Bulls tonight. The only reason this line is 4.5 is because the Bulls still find ways to win. Yes, they lost back-to-back games to Milwaukee and the Timberwolves, but the Bucks game, a little bit of a tough circumstance. Second night of a back-to-back. Giannis coming back unexpectedly as the Bulls took on the Sixers and Bucks in back-to-back games. The Sixers game when they didn't think Joel Embiid was going to play, and then Embiid popped out of nowhere and played that one. And then the Bucks game, Giannis is not expected to play, and all of a sudden, oh, yeah, he's back after a whole month. Antetokounmpo is going to play a game randomly in Chicago, Illinois. And then the Bulls lose to the Timberwolves, expected, and then come out and win their last game at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. We had Bulls money line in that game. Now, I didn't think that, when I picked Bulls money line, I wasn't thinking, let's have Isaac Okoro be the leading scorer. Let's win this game because of Isaac Okoro's effort scoring 24. Now, I didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought a lot of Tyus Jones, who still had a really good game, and I told you Tyus Jones is very capable. Ayo Dosunmu. Nope, it was Okoro. And again, those guys helped as well, but Okoro was the main guy in that game for the Bulls. Now, Kobe White likely still out as well. So this is where I think, and this is why I'm taking the Magic here, even though I've been so high on Chicago all year long, and honestly I've been very critical about the Magic all season long because I think they deserve to be treated very critically. Off-season champions, Orlando Magic. No Josh Giddey, still out for a couple more weeks, and no Kobe White. Kobe White's out for at least a week with right calf tightness. Again, you know the NBA right now, they're not going to play with those. And Zach Collins is still out too. Eventually these injuries are going to catch up. And you're starting a starting lineup currently of Trey Jones, Ayo Dosunmu, Isaac Okoro, Matas Buzelis, Modest Buzelis, and Vucci Main. Off the bench, you get Kevin Huerter, Jalen Smith, Patrick Williams. It kills your depth, obviously. Because that's, again, when you lose Giddey, you lose White, Collins, and that's what I said too. And I didn't think it was going to hurt them against the Pelicans, and obviously it did not. They still beat New Orleans because the game was at home, and I still thought it was a decent enough spot. I think, off of one game, Trey Jones and Dosunmu can buy you one. Can they buy you multiple games? And I think a bigger factor too, Jalen Smith having to play the 5. He got it done in their last game, but when the Bulls are at their best, they're playing both Zach Collins and Jalen Smith, and Jalen Smith's playing at the 4, and Zach Collins can fully operate as a 5. So then Jalen Smith can now sit at the 3-point line instead of having to worry about keeping possessions alive, because that's where he's better off at. And I understand he still had 12 boards in their last game against the Pelicans. The Pelicans are severely undersized, and Jalen Smith, forced to play that role, can be successful there. Against the Magic, against Wendell Carter Jr., against Paolo Banchero, that's a much tougher ask out of Jalen Smith. And he's not the starter, but oh wait, we have to ask the starter in Nikola Vucevic to do that too. Oh, yeah, give me the Magic here. Give me Orlando. Orlando, we've talked about it at length this season. They abandoned their their defensive-minded philosophy. They're just a mid-defensive team after being one of the best year-in and year-out defensive teams in the NBA. But now they just run with teams. And I know the first game they played against Chicago this year in Orlando, the Bulls actually blew them out. But the Magic won the second game at home by 15. So they played both their games so far against the Bulls over in Orlando. First game in Chicago. But they're not playing Josh Giddey this time around. No Kobe White on the court. And it's a Magic team now that can just play the Bulls game. And, okay, you want to run the entire game? Yeah, Orlando can do that against Chicago. And a undermanned Chicago team. And I said it again. Trey Jones and Ayo Dosunmu are very good players. I think Trey Jones is actually very underrated. He does a lot of good things for the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, he's not going to start over the likes of Josh Giddey and Kobe White, who are, I would say, stars for this Bulls team and likely pieces of the future. If you count White still a part of the future, we know Giddey is. But regardless, Trey Jones can get it done for a game or two, and Dosunmu can as well. But are they sustainable pieces, and can you do that for weeks or even just games now that the Magic know what's coming at them and know, okay, we don't have Giddey, we don't have White, these are the guys we're matching up with. I just don't think so. I know what the Magic can do. Guys, this is what happens when you actually play Anthony Black, and Anthony Black actually gets big minutes. Jalen Suggs is healthy right now. Desmond Bane's playing fairly well. Paolo Banchero is settling in again. He's been playing good basketball this season for the most part after the injury, and Wendell Carter's playing well too. I think it's a difficult matchup for the Bulls here, and I think Orlando just run away with this game. I know the game's in Chicago, but trust me, I've been the biggest Bulls truther all year long. I've been the biggest Josh Giddey truther, so he's not playing, so maybe that's part of it here. But I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic to win this game on the road and cover the 4.5 points as well. Give me Orlando's spread at the United Center against the Chicago Bulls. On now to our fourth best bet of the video, we go to our final moneyline/spread play of the day, as we're going to conclude things with a player prop over in the Lakers game. I had to end it on some Showtime basketball, though. We'll bookmark that until the end of the video. First up, or I guess next up, let's go to the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. And yes, I am picking against the Pelicans again. Give me Portland Trailblazers money line on the road, I believe at -115. I'm seeing anywhere from -115 to -120. Give me the Blazers to go on the road and win this game. They're better than New Orleans. They're much better than New Orleans. New Orleans went on their little run where they looked great. They had won 4 straight games in a row after playing the Spurs to a competitive game, losing by 3 to San Antonio. They went out and won 5 consecutive games, over Portland, who, again, they're playing again today, but this is a get-back game for the Blazers. Portland, Chicago, Rockets, Pacers, and Mavs. And then the Pelicans came crashing back down to earth. Yes, they've played some competitive games. They played the Knicks competitively, hung around with the Suns. Ultimately, though, they lose. Losing to Cleveland to start the lose streak, and then back-to-back games at home against the Phoenix Suns, losing to the New York Knicks by 5 points, and in their last game, right, we just talked about it, going to Chicago and losing to not just a Bulls team, with Giddey and whatnot, no, an undermanned Bulls team with no Josh Giddey, no Kobe White. Don't love that outcome for them. And we know what the Pelicans are. This is one of the worst teams in the NBA. Not the worst team in the NBA, because as much as this pains me to say, it's the Indiana Pacers. But honestly, I don't even think the Pacers are too concerned being the worst team in the NBA. They're 6-28. Guys, Adam Silver needs to reward them a good pick. I don't know how many times I need to talk about this. No one's forcing me to talk about it. But if he doesn't reward the Pacers with the number 1 pick after them putting on one of the craziest playoff runs I've ever seen last year, and Halliburton sacrificing his body for the postseason, they deserve AJ Devonsta. So give them the number 1 pick. They've lost 10 in a row right now. They're 6-28. But why we bring up Indiana, obviously, because the Pelicans are on that level of bad. And the tier of horrible basketball teams is down to 4, I believe. I actually think so. Every other team I could actually kind of imagine maybe making a play-in push. And that's not because I think, they can go far in the playoffs. It's because the 10th seed in the play-in is always bad. And look at the Blazers. I'm sorry, but the Blazers are 6 games under 500, and they still hold the play-in spot, and they have a game and a half still up on the Clippers, who, yes, continue to win and will eventually end up in that spot. But really, the 4 teams that just suck in general, and yes, again, the Brooklyn Nets are only 4 games out of the play-in behind the losing Hawks right now. There are 4 teams in basketball that truly suck and don't even have a chance for the play-in currently. That's the Indiana Pacers, the Washington Wizards we just talked about, the Sacramento Kings, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans actually have a worse record than Sacramento, and the Kings have been awful this season. But Sacramento is 8-27, and yes, they have fallen completely back down to earth. And they are a very banged up squad at the same time. Derek Queen might not play tonight, and that's a big loss because the rookie's been massive this season for the Pelicans. Derek Queen is questionable for this game with a left quad contusion. Herbert Jones is still out, which still leads me to believe they are trying to keep Herbert Jones healthy before they can potentially work out a trade and find a correct trade partner for them. And Sadiq Bey is questionable for this game as well. I thought DeJounte Murray was supposed to be back after New Year's. That was the report we've been getting for months. And I still have not seen an update yet on DeJounte Murray. So not completely sure what's going to happen there. But obviously, again, DeJounte Murray, very capable player and a starter, obviously. And a very good starter at that for the Pelicans. We'll see when he returns. But anyways, Pelicans, Blazers tonight. I like the Blazers. I like the Blazers on the road. They won back-to-back games at home against Boston and Dallas. Lost their last game to the Oklahoma City Thunder on New Year's Eve, where Chet said it's just an OKC tradition now that they're playing games on New Year's Eve, which is cool. I didn't know about the rule where a team's going to pick 1 game a year, but I assume that doesn't apply to Christmas, but whatever, cool. Blazers lose that game expected. Now the Thunder lock into Blazers games now. Because they know what happened the first time they played him. That was the game that ended the undefeated run. And obviously someone was eventually going to beat the Thunder, but it happened to somehow be Denny Ajava and the Portland Trailblazers. Portland's still injured. When is Drew Holiday coming back? I don't know. When's Scoot Henderson ever going to play basketball? I don't know. Jeremy Grant has been close to returning for a couple games now. I don't know when any of those guys are going to be back. I don't know. But who is playing and who's important that's playing tonight? Ajava, Sharp, Klingon, Kamara starts, but the more important player, Caleb Love. And what Caleb Love has done off the bench has been just excellent, man. And and basically playing with the starting lineup, being in that main rotation, playing those clutch time minutes. Caleb Love has been so great for the Portland Trailblazers. The Blazers, again, currently in a play-in spot at 14-20. I think they beat the Pelicans quite easily tonight. And we know, again, don't forget the whistle. Ajava, like it or not, he is the best whistle, one of the best whistles in the NBA. It's right up there with a James Harden, with the Kawhi Leonard, with a Jokic, with the Jimmy Butler, with the Shea, with the Luka. Ajava's got that type of whistle. He gets those type of calls. He demands that superstar treatment. Which, is he a superstar? I don't know if anyone would really say that, but he gets those type of calls. You got to go with the Blazers. I'm past the point of hating on this team and how are they doing this? How are they just winning games they shouldn't know? They're a horrible statistical team, but they find ways to win. So they're one of these cases where you don't, again, look at the actual statistics and you say, okay, wait, hold on. They just find ways to win. They get offensive rebounds. They get second chance opportunities. And Donovan Klingon's really good. And Ajva is good too. And Shaedon Sharpe hits big shots. And now they're getting help with a guy like Caleb Love off the bench. Portland wins this game on the road against the Pelicans, -115 to -120, whatever you get it at. Give me the Blazers to go on the road to New Orleans and win. Our final best bet of the video does include the Los Angeles Lakers. However, it does not include a player from the Los Angeles Lakers. The player we're taking tonight, we're going to have an overarching theme with this, but you'll see what we do. We're going to take Cam Spencer over 10.5 points. And you might ask, why Cam Spencer? You could have looked at John Morant. You could have done Jaren Jackson. You could have taken anybody on New Orleans. You could have taken Contavious Caldwell-Pope off the bench. Santi Aldama has his fair share of big games. And I could have taken any player on that team. Why do I want Cam Spencer? Cam Spencer comes off the bench, and just chucks up three-point shots. There is not a team in the NBA that doesn't play worse defense against three-point shots, and it doesn't close out against three-point shooters worse than the Los Angeles Lakers. So why, again, do I pick Cam Spencer? I know he's a great three-point shooter, but why specifically Cam Spencer? He comes in off of the bench. And when Cam Spencer comes off the bench, that's when the lazy Lakers start. Those long, treacherous streaks and just time periods of games where the Lakers walk back to defensive assignments. I'm watching LeBron not even get back to the other side of the court. I'm watching Luka not play help defense. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It's not good basketball. That's what the lazy Lakers are, and that's when Cam Spencer can strike. I've already seen Cam Spencer beat up an LA team once this season. He did it at the Intuit Dome against the Los Angeles Clippers, came into the game, told the Clippers bench, that guy can't guard me. I think that's what he said, or there was a lot of different theories on what Cam Spencer actually told the Clippers bench that game. I know Spencer's last two games, he hasn't gone over the 10.5 points. He's had, I think it was 7 points last game, 7 points against the Sixers, 8 points against the Wizards. Those games weren't against the Los Angeles Lakers. The games prior to that, 19 against Milwaukee, 11 against Utah, 14 against OKC, 19 against the Wizards, 27 against the Clippers, and again the game that he said, you can't guard me, Spencer's very capable. He's better than his brother, we know he is. Ja said it before, and he's right. Spencer, again, is one of the better three-point shooters in all of basketball. You give that guy a wide-open look from three, he's going to knock it down. This is a 49% three-point shooter this season. That is absurd. It's just what Cam Spencer does. And you're telling me, unfortunately, and I love Luka, Luka's going to play 8 hard minutes. 6 hard minutes. LeBron's going to go to the bench after the first 6 minutes, so that's obviously the Luka period. Because if you've watched Lakers games, the only times in games usually where Luka and LeBron share the court are the first 6 minutes of the game, likely the last 3 minutes of the first half, the first 5 minutes of the second half, and the very closing 5 minutes of the game. Those are the only times when Luka and LeBron share the court. Because at some point, usually, at all points, JJ wants either Luka or LeBron to be on the court and obviously facilitate everything. So Luka's going to get that first matchup. Ja comes out or whoever comes out and Spencer comes in. You're telling me Luka's going to have to guard Cam Spencer? It might be Marcus Smart, but say the Grizzlies go to their set where they have Ja and Spencer on the court. Yeah, then they have to go Marcus Smart on Ja, and then, okay, Luka gets stuck with Cam Spencer, and if the Grizzlies are smart, which we'll see, I would do that. Lakers aren't going to take Marcus Smart off of Ja Morant. That's the matchup they want. Obviously, former Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. That's exactly who they want guarding Ja Morant, who slowly but surely is playing better basketball. Saw that game just a couple days ago. Played very phenomenally against the Philadelphia 76ers. Ja's back. He scores 40, right? Maybe shouldn't have taken so much time with that easy two-handed dunk. But regardless, that's what Ja can do. And Ja's capable of obviously scoring 40 still. And obviously Jaren Jackson's a factor, but he doesn't fit into my thought process here. Cam Spencer's going to get matched up with Luka Doncic. I love Luka. Fair player, one of my favorite players in the league. Love watching Luka play. Defensively, though, he's a mess. And you take Cedric Coward off the court and bring in Cam Spencer, who's a lot quicker. Coward can make for his own shot, but Spencer can, and can do it from the three and shoot off-balance threes. I'm just a little afraid he's going to have Luka in a blender here. And it's just Luka will be a lack of effort. It'll be, oh, who's this quick dude who can shoot? I don't want to guard this. And he hits 3 threes in the first quarter. And eventually, Cam Spencer is going to find his way to over 10.5. And also, the other additional factor in all of this, what if the Lakers just don't pick him up in general? Happens quite a bit to Los Angeles sometimes, where they just simply don't guard a guy. Oh, this guy's open from 3? Okay, let's just kind of throw a hand out, or Rui will do his little jump that he does when a guy's wide open from 3. I know Rui's, been injured, but that's a Lakers thing where Rui will just jump up from 3, will jump up from the paint when a guy shoots a 3, so he'll be mistiming the rebound, but he tries to be a distraction. It's lazy Lakers defense. Gabe Vincent's still not back. What's going on with that guy? I don't know. He's still got a back injury. I can see it now. Cam Spencer is going to score 25 points. Lakers probably win, but again, gone are the days currently for me until AR comes back of me betting Lakers to win basketball games, or unless something changes on the defensive side of the court. I'm going to go Cam Spencer today, over 10.5 points to close the night against the Lakers, and again, with that lazy Lakers defense. Over 10.5 for Spencer to close the night at -125. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA Best Bets here on January 2nd. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily NBA Best Bets. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.